I sure am glad to be here. You're looking at someone that was condemned to death 10 times, 3 times in Auschwitz alone, and I was 3 yards away from the next in line in the crematorium. I was born in a small town called Breziny, not far from Lodz. As soon as the Germans marched in, of course, they formed a ghetto. And what they did, they segregated us from one area. They cleaned out whatever it was with our possessions, and they moved us to another place, and then they repeated that until we were all concentrated in just in a few blocks in the ghetto. We went in the ghetto till 1941. And then they liquidated the ghetto, and they only we were all transported, not all of us, except I and among whoever it was, transferred to the ghetto lodge. Of course, the next morning when I woke up, I had no more parents. I was an orphan overnight. I was in that ghetto until 1944 when they liquidated. For whatever the reason, of course, we were not informed. The Russians supposedly were closing in, so they liquidated the ghetto, and we were transported into Germany proper, first to Auschwitz. In Auschwitz, when I arrived in Auschwitz, as I got off the train, I had a rash on my body, because from the fermentation, they put a powder on the floor and this. And I was diagnosed by Mengele that I had a scarlet fever. I was separated from everybody else, quarantined, put in a hospital, something from where every 2 days they would come and clean out and take everybody to the ghettos. I was lucky enough, the doctor informed me as soon as I got there that I wasn't really sick, so whenever they came, they put me out the back door. As soon as they left, I came back in. He made me orderly. I was cleaned up after the sick. And after 2 weeks, approximately, I don't know exactly dates because I never paid attention to any of it, I was discharged from the hospital, and soon enough, I was selected again among thousands of people to be condemned to death. That's when I faced the ghetto. I mean, the gas chamber. From Auschwitz, when I was put on a transport and sent to Germany proper over there, I went through 8 different camps. I was designated here to talk to you only about the Dead March. But the Dead March, what it was really, we marched until we never reached the destination we were going to, and we didn't know where we were going to, and the reason why. But I got as far as Allah. But until then, I went through the 8 camps, and my whole time that I spent in Germany was a Dead March, because I went to 8 camps. In each camp were 600 to 800 people. We worked in different areas. We had to build ammunition factories, bunkers for to camouflage, to go underneath. I worked for Juncker's airplane. It's not easy. And so most of the people from the 600, within 2 weeks, there were very few left of us, and we went from one camp to another camp to another camp until the time we didn't know that at the time that the Americans were getting closer and they felt threatened. So we were all lined up in the last camp in formation and marched out of the camp. Where we were going, we didn't know. The reason why, we didn't know. And we marched for 2 weeks. There was no food, no drink. Usually they kept us out of sight of the German population, even so we could see them through the windows. They were looking out at us. And we would rest during the day. Well, the day there was nothing to eat. I remember I picked snails, live snails to eat. I had carrots that I dug up somewhere in the field, which they were probably buried there for who knows for how long. And I ate that. And when we finally arrived in Allach, which is a town of about a few miles from Dachau. I don't know if Dachau was the destination or not. I don't even know. All I know from the Dead March, very few were left. And the Americans showed themselves on the horizon. There, we could see them from a distance. And I ran out. I ran towards the Americans, and I was fired upon, and I was hit in the leg slightly, not much went through here. But what happened, that the Americans backed up because there was a lot of fighting going on and shooting. So I hid in a silo, in the potato silo overnight, and the next morning I walked out. I could still hear German speaking, so I went back in there. Finally, the next day in the morning, I got out and I saw the Americans. And of course, we were happy to see, but I was a free man. Being free, I wasn't free. I was so much full of hate. I resented everybody. I blamed the whole world for my misery, even my own parents, which I didn't. Of course, I lost them 41. I didn't know. And I had to get rid of that hate because it would have destroyed me. I didn't want to go back to Poland. I didn't have such good memories. I didn't want to go to a DP camp because I didn't want to be regimented and be told what to do. And I said, I don't need anything. I don't care what happened to me. I want to be free, be able to express myself. And I stayed put. And I walked into a village in Karlsfeld, which is a town between Munich and Dachau. And I lived there for 4 years among the German people. And it made it easy for me to learn more about my enemies and get used to and to get rid of my hatred. Because I felt that it was eating up my insides. Because I witnessed such things you cannot imagine. We used to get up in the morning, reveille time in the morning, and they announced so many people present, so many dead, and somebody said, "What, so wenig, so little dead?" And they did the killing right in front of us. And they were doing it with a smile. And all this year, I had to endure at my age. It was very difficult for me to do it, but I survived, and I had to do the best of it. In 1948, I came to the United States of America. And soon after, I was drafted into the Army. I served in the Army over here. Before I finish, I want to thank America for what it gave to me. And I enjoyed many privileges in the United States, and I'm very grateful for all that. I got married. I have 2 children, 4 grandchildren. And here I am. You see, I had a lot more to say, but listening to others speak before me, it puts me in a different situation than I first came up here. And a lot of it escapes me. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank American people, America, for for the life I was able to lead here and what I was able to accomplish. Thank you very much.